Probably seen all these videos, and you might have seen this one. And this is actually my friend Saeed. I'm good friends with him. Both agreed that wasn't great, which is a part of growing in business and in SMA. So completely understood. But once you get good enough at cold calls, you can have results like these, which was my cold call heyday: 2, 4, 5, 3 points a day, roughly around 4 points a day, which leads to this, which is a packed up calendar, which leads to this, which was the first 10K that I made, which leads to this and gave me the skills for this, which was a recent 50K month that I achieved. So before I give you the script, I want to tell you that it probably won't work. And the reason why is because it relies on you. If you're anything like me, I was addicted to social media, video games, out of shape, really a degenerate, right? So it was very difficult for me to convince a business owner that it was worth their time simply because I wasn't, right? It's the same way now that even if you gave me Kevin Hart's script, I wouldn't be funny, right? The reason why is because it's Kevin Hart that makes it funny, not the actual script itself. This is what the crowd look like for him, it'll look like for me, right? So this video is going to have two parts. Part number one is going to be the script, why it works. Part two is going to be about using it right now. So you'll be able to close this video and not watch another Emon. You'll be able to go in and actually use this to get results, pick up the phone and start dialing. Fill up your calendar, kickstart your SMA, make a shit ton of money. So Alex, I'm going to read through the Notion over here. Let me prompt myself to do it. Here's the cold calling script in its full glory, right? So part number one is going to be the cold call intro. Evoke enough curiosity to continue the conversation. I'll let you see me while I do this. So it'll be, hey, like, is John here? That'll be the first line. Then, oh, hey, John, yeah, this is just Alex right here. I'm not sure if we've met yet, but I'm just wondering if you could like possibly help me out for a moment. Hey, well, like, who is this? How can I help? What's all about? Well, I'm not quite sure if you can actually help me yet. I called to be open if you'd see if you'd be open to any hidden gaps in the marketing aspect of your business that's causing you to experience a little bit of pain when it comes to bringing on new chiro and adjustment patients. Process supplies, what do you know what it's all about? Oh, I apologize, I don't mean to offend you. What we do is, so chiropractors can sometimes see the problem of being able to not consistently bring on these adjustment patients, and because of that, have to chase their tail around all day. So what I do is I help those chiropractors set up a system to bring in leads consistently so that they don't have to worry about making payroll and they can enjoy their life and eventually scale up their business. If I came across your business, wasn't sure if this would be for you. So tell me, like, you mind if I ask you a few questions just to make sure there's a good fit? And from that point, I say yes or no. What it does is gives you the in to actually continue the rest of the conversation. If they do, you're going to ask them some questions. And then at the end of each question, we're going to do what's called a story loop, right? And what a story loop is every time that they answer a question, instead of going to the next question, making it sound like an interrogation, what we're going to do is we're going to follow up with a personal relation or story. So if they said, oh, I'm from California, like, oh, well, I not go to California, but every summer I go down to Florida. I like the heat, right? And relating everything that they say to a personal story relation, so it sounds like a natural conversation going back and forth. You don't have to agree with them and relate with them and agree with them on everything in life, but the premise is that when you're speaking with them, it sounds like a natural flowing conversation and not interrogation. So much of the script lays out question after question after question. You want to throw in personal stories there so you can build rapport and make this not sound like an interrogation, right? So essentially what we go into is like, well, like, how do you generate business, right? It's like, is there any problem that you're doing right now? Or like, how's that going, right? And then through doing that, you can relate to a personal client story, maybe a case study in order to show the transformation possibility. And then you can ask any one of these questions, right? Which are the clarifying and probing questions, right? So this is where you ask and you really determine if this is the right fit for them and if they'd be someone that needs to move forward. And when you can nail these questions, which I will go into later about tonality and how to ask these questions properly, this is where they're going to spill the beans on. So if they say, oh, well, like, we've been trying ads and like, I don't know if it works. Well, like, could you elaborate a little bit more on that, please? And then through doing that, or if they say, like, let's say they're having amazing results, you can go along the lines of, well, okay, well, like, if this is working for you, like, is there anything that you change about it? And using these probing questions, you get them to spill the beans on everything that they're doing, right? And the next phase is going to be the solution awareness process. So what's going to be is like, hey, I don't mean to offend you, but if you're struggling with like bringing on leads through Facebook, like, why don't you try and change something else, right? And like, if you make that change, what would you want with it? And then that is when they tell you what they're looking for. As soon as they tell you what they're looking for, all you do is you plug your service in as a way to get what they're looking for and transition it as, hey, it's kind of like time consuming to explain this all over the phone. If you'd be interested, I can like send you a Zoom link, send you an email, we can hop on and cover it on there. That's the entire script, right? I put it in the Notion doc below. You can use it for whatever you want. And that is the end of the video if you don't want to book appointments. If you do, then you're going to need this next part of the video because this is what's going to get you the actual results, right? So part two is making it work. Here's my friend, Matt Deegan. This is also the cold calling script he used to book 4 meetings per 100 DMs. DMs? Yes, you heard that right. He, instead of doing a straight up ice cold call, what he does is he DMs the prospect ahead of time, following a cold DM strategy saying, like, hey, do you service commercial and residential? Using the home improvement niche. So they'll say, yes, we service home and residential, Then you'll find the number on their Facebook page and you'll call them. And this is known as a warm call. When he calls them, what's going to happen is he's going to go along the lines of like, hey, it's Matt. I was messaging you, we were chatting on Facebook already, And why this has 10x the effectiveness is because when you open up the call to prospect, they already know you. And the most vital part of a call is the actual hook, right? If you can get them to pay attention to you past the start of the call and really be invested in the conversation, it is a cakewalk to do the rest. So that is why when you do this warm call strategy, you'll have such effectiveness getting somebody into conversation, building trust with them. And instead, I'm going to show you a call recording in just a sec so you can actually see how well this works. Before that, I want to cover the tonality, right? Because I show you that script, and I will be honest with you. If you do not have good tonality, it will not work. None of it will work, right? And that goes with any script, right? If you have good tonality with any script, you will see success. So the way to hack tonality, and actually I'll go through my story here quickly. So I remember I used to think that this was the one thing I was missing, right? I thought tonality was the big beast. If I had my tonality dialed, I would see success, which was completely true, right? So I watched a bunch of books, sales training, and honestly just consumed all the sales content I could, but I still couldn't get it. I still absolutely sucked. I still absolutely bombed. So for a long time, it led me to just absolutely sucking at sales, like really bad. I think I had maybe like a 10% close rate, which is absolutely terrible. But out of the blue, one day it became fixed, right? And I realized that there's one thing that if you could do, it will dial this in automatically, kind of like a Zapier automation or Go high level automation that, automatically moves into the next process after a trigger is complete. Exact same thing with your tonality. And I found it by looking at what people's tone actually means, right? Because every time someone talks about their tone, what it really is their intentions in a conversation with you. So all I did was change my intention and allowed me to actually change my tonality, which allowed me to, with whatever script I used, to see results, regardless of whether it's the one I showed you or one that you make up on the fly. You don't even use a script on the cold call. The tone automatically follows. So here's an example, right? So if you're sounding salesy on a sales call or you're sounding salesy on the cold call, what the emotion, what the intention you need to change is, instead of chasing the sale, you need to have indifference. So indifference means that you do not care whether or not they move forward with you. That is an example. If you change the intention, the tonality following that will automatically shift, right? You'll no longer sound salesy because you don't really care if they close or not, if they get an appointment with you or not. Another example, if you're nervous about asking the questions, right, and you sound all stuttery, all these things, which isn't necessarily bad in a lot of cases, but you have to sound confident at the same time. What you want to do is you want to change your base intention from trying to qualify them to get ammunition to being curious. Right? If you're genuinely curious about what they're doing in their business, who they are, all that follows because it will automatically go into place when you're trying to learn more about them. Right? It's the same way when you're talking with a friend or you meet somebody new, you're very easily able to go into a long conversation with them just because you have a genuine curiosity as to who they are. Right? If you can apply that into the cold call, boom. That base emotion will fix your intention, which will fix your tonality. And the last example I'll give is you sound awkward gaining rapport, right? So you sound awkward trying to speak with the person, relate to them, or share mutual experiences. What you need to sub out is the ability of what you're doing right now of trying to get them to book a call with you, get them to follow a narrative that you've laid out, to just having genuine interest in who they are as a person. And when you can apply these examples, when you can plug them in to what you're doing, it becomes extremely, extremely easy to dial in your intentions, which dials in your tonality, which makes it so that whatever script you use, you're going to see results either way. So not only does it make it a lot more fulfilling to do business that way, because now instead of being the, hey, I'm just trying to make money, get to 10K a month so I can screw off on an island somewhere, have financial freedom, that goes away, right? And you start to feel fulfillment in helping people and actually doing business, which might sound a little bit Lulu and up there, but I promise you it's not as much as you think, because the prospect sees that, everyone you do business with sees that, and it pays you in dividends because you do not seem like somebody who has extremely skewed intentions or just trying to mess people up. So that's all for me. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to show you call from Matt Deegan, 5 minutes, right? And what's going to do is it's going to turn you into a monster at sales, because when you amalgamate everything that I was speaking about, including these authentic story loops here, I'm making sure it doesn't sound like an interrogation, making sure you back up with stories, flows, and storytelling so that everything flows and it's a back and forth and not just an interrogation conversation. You will become a monster at sales. I thought this was a super cool stat. Just want to give you guys a second to take a look at this. But anyways, here's the call from Matt. I'll shut up.
Hi there, just double checking I've got the right number here. Is this Intense Bathroom Solutions?
It is, yeah.
Brilliant. Hi, mate. My name's Matthew. I messaged you on Facebook. I think it was on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Does that ring a bell? Yeah. Awesome. Well, I have a spare 5 minutes right now. Is it a good time to chat?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Brilliant, man. So yeah, I mean, as I mentioned in the message I sent you, basically what I'd be looking to provide you with is a complete marketing campaign setup. Essentially, it's just a system that you'd be able to use to generate some more customers to work with. I just wanted to see if there's any potential we'd be a good fit and you'd be able to go ahead and use that. So I do have a few quick questions for you. And then if it sounds like we can set aside another time to go in some more detail. Does that sound all right?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Awesome. So just in terms of the operations of your company, how from a customer's perspective, how would a customer sort of approach your business and then obviously turn into a conversion?
Yep, so pretty much 50% Facebook, 50% word of mouth.
Yeah. Awesome. And are you happy with the way you're currently generating customers?
Right now, Facebook, so I have not advertised for a long time, probably since March last year. We were extremely busy. However, now the artist fell at the private market and everybody's wanting to spend some money. So I've actually got a guy a couple of weeks ago to do a campaign for a month. I am desperate for work, private sector from Facebook. Yes. So
Brilliant.
Anytime we see it.
Yeah, so your capacity for extra work is definitely there.
Yeah.
You're definitely looking for it. Awesome. In terms of, I understand it's quite hard to put a specific number on it, but in terms of average people that you work with on a monthly basis, how many bathrooms are you usually doing on a monthly basis? Six right now, and you're looking to get that number to?
Probably, if I was doing 2 a week, 8.
2 a week, okay. 2 a week. And what's your average order value for a bathroom?
Roughly between 8 and 11 grand.
8 and 11. Okay, so kind of like middle of the road. Kind of in the middle. The bathrooms look brilliant, by the way. I was checking them out. They look lovely. And then on the back of the 8 to 11, what are the profit margins looking like?
Generally run about 20%, between 20 and 25%.
20 to 25. Brilliant. Awesome. So, I mean, capacity for extra work. In 6 months' time, you're just looking to be at a place where you can sort of just have leads, a constant stream of leads anyway, just a constant stream of work.
Yes, exactly.
That's exactly what you're looking for. How is so you've obviously hired someone, or you hired someone last month to run a campaign. What were the results of that? How was that going?
It's only just went live in Monday morning, so.
Right, is that through Facebook?
Yes.
Oh right, okay. Is it another company that you're using, or?
Believe it or not, it was a guy I know for the pub.
Oh no! Oh no!
That's what he's job with. I think I've known him a while. You know.
Right. Is he? I assume he's got somewhat of a background in marketing. Maybe has.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. And if you don't mind me asking, I assume you've put an ad spend towards that.
Yeah, £500.
£500. Is that to cover 1 month?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Just to start to see what's what. It was just a £500. Let's see where we go and see.
Yeah. You kind of put it in as let's just see what happens and what that turns into.
Correct.
Okay, that makes sense. Awesome. Well, that's all the questions I have for you right now. I did just want to give you sort of a background into myself as to who this random guy is calling you. So I've been in the marketing world for a few years now. I've been running a marketing agency for just coming up on over a year. What we used to do is target all industries. So we used to target beauty, fashion, clothing, everyone. And to be completely honest, you can probably imagine how complicated that can actually get. So at the back end of last year, we decided to set the foundations again and sort of restart. So we decided to pick an industry which we know we can deliver results, but also have somewhat of an interest in, which is obviously the home improvement industry. I think the people that I work with now are brilliant. It's kind of like a community instead of just an industry, which is always helpful. So essentially, how I'd be able to help your business is what I'd be able to do is give you a full marketing campaign set up through Facebook, where you'd be able to generate leads on command, essentially. And given you do have capacity for extra work and you're actually looking for it at the moment, it's probably quite good timing. So. If that sounds all good to you, what I usually like to do is book a follow-up call where we can be face-to-face and I can go in a little bit more detail. Are you free either... I'm quite busy this week. Would you be free at the start of next week?
Monday would be good. Monday around noon would be great.
Around noon?
Yeah.
Monday noon. So what I'll do is I'll get you booked in for Monday at 12 p.m. The call will roughly take about 30 to 40 minutes. It is on Zoom as well. Have you used Zoom before? Brilliant. That's a win in my book. I can't even tell you how many times people have said no to that. I have to run them through how to install it and everything. Awesome. What's the best email to contact you with?
Scott.richard9@sky.com.
Scott.richard9@sky.com. And I assume your name is Scott Richard.
Richard Scott.
Oh, really? Richard Scott. Is that double T?
Correct, yes.
Double T. Perfect. Well, what you will get through is you'll just get a confirmation email with the Zoom link, and then I'll shoot you a message probably the day before, maybe just in the morning, and we can get the ball rolling. Does that sound all right?
Perfect. Lovely.
Awesome, man. Well, I will speak to you on Monday, and I hope we can get the ball rolling. Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. See you later.
Cheers, mate. Bye-bye.
Oh, yeah.